guys, so Jason here with a word to the wise. I just want to comment on something that I'm seeing. I thought about this just the other day, and I'm not saying I have any inside information, but Florida seems to be in its own bubble. You know, they had that building crash, but their government now has been speaking out and doing things kind of all on their own. And I know that Trump has his main home down there. I can't remember the name of that over there, and I think it's like Fort Lauderdale area. But I used to live there for like 20 years, and Florida is definitely a different kind of place for sure, compared to where I live now in the New England area. But they passed laws that are beneficial to that Middle Eastern country that we can't really speak about. And they've made laws saying you can't speak out against that country in colleges and schools. Otherwise, the students, staff, and even the teachers and deans can be arrested. You know, whoever is the one that's speaking in that manner against them, you know, because they have that term that they throw around loosely, you know, anytime you say anything against that country. And then they had that 2-minute moment of silence put into law. And I remember, I think I showed just some screenshots of that, but it was the governor speaking about why they need to, you know, get on board and understand. And they had a reading from a person, you know, of religious, the higher ups in their religion over there, and he was doing a reading, a Bible reading, and it was kind of just like, you know, they're saying and they're showing how they're on board with that system. People talk about the Noahides also, you know, is that system being built, you know, to, you know, for the coming future. And I know that there's a Noahide center down there in Tampa. That's where I used to live. And I'm wondering if things start hitting the fan and all these things that we've seen about rebellions and the elites being taken down and the Great Reset, the Great Awakening, the light versus the darkness, if this is going to be somehow shown in a time, you know, when they want it to be, where they say, look, things didn't happen here in Florida the way they happened everywhere else, because we recognize that you need to have these systems in place and to recognize, you know, quote unquote, God, you know, in your systems, in your society, and He will bless you. And it's going to be, you know, because those guys who are wearing the black hats with the curly cues on the sides, those guys are the one that are pushing this. So I'm trying to make this make as much sense as possible, but hopefully you are understanding what I'm trying to say, because what could be coming out of this, I believe, is going to be, if they did use this as some sort of a way of bringing that false light, you know, to show that you need to be with us, you need to get, you know, underneath our wings and let us guide you into this future, you know. And then you look at the Freemason doctrine of what they want to do by bringing a chaos and then bring order out of that chaos, you know, so that way they can get atheists out of atheism, and people that are already in religion, or their Christianity mainly is what they despise and talk about. They want to get people out of Christianity and into their doctrine. So I'm just wondering if this is going to be something that we'll see in the future during this whole, you know, I don't even want to say this whole new bug season that's coming this fall and winter, because I'm sure it's going to be a crazy. I'm just sitting here just watching morning news channels for pretty much fun, and just seeing the constant theme of warnings and guidance, and need to do this, you need to do that, everybody needs to be doing this, and everybody's not doing enough, and the dangers of all these countries rising up, and they're rising up, showing all these protests and violent protests now coming out of this. Well, guess what? When you make them, you try to back them into a corner and overpower them. Well, we got to do the good of the nation. We gotta start pushing back, unfortunately. And that's when, if things go so south, they can say anything, bringing in that Mart law or who knows. But I just want to point these things out because these are the things I see, and when I see these things, my mind goes down these paths and it sees kind of what they could be leading people into. I'm never saying when I make these kinds of videos that I'm saying that this is coming. I'm saying that this could be a way, because we know that they make a million different paths and problems. It's interesting that they had the flooding in Germany, and now they're having flooding and fires over here in America. Right next door they're having droughts, yet now in Arizona in the desert they're having flooding. It's just crazy. So just word to the wise, just putting it out there. Something to keep an eye on for the future. But if nobody ever mentions it or talks about these kinds of things, which most of the channels that I follow are almost up and disappeared. There's maybe one or two, and even the channels that I'm trying to stay with, they're talking so much rumor mill about all these things that are just ridiculous in talking about far out things that I don't even want to mention. But all we can do is wait. All we can do is wait and see, because I know that this one path that the news is following just seems to be that kind of a path, and everything else just seems to be some way of keeping everybody busy, worrying about micro things falling out of the sky, or aliens and climate changes and all these things. But all in all, while everybody's tied up in all this mess, what is going to continue to keep moving? And it's the bugs. So just a word to the wise, guys. God bless.